Johan, first of all, congratulations. You've extended your contract here. It's early. So tell us how excited you are to be sticking around at Gloucester.
Oh, thanks, Alastair. No, I'm very excited, and privileged, and obviously grateful towards the club and everybody at the club, and obviously the board and just everybody, that how they accepted me, and also the opportunity that there was an opportunity to extend. Obviously, I do believe in the way what we want to achieve at the club, and I can thank the players for how they accepted me, and that's why it's a privilege to coach them, and it's a great place to be. Obviously starting to feel like home now with the fact that we have been here 2 seasons, and when the opportunity came, when David Humphreys started the process of asking me if I wanted to extend, obviously there was a bit of thought going in there, and then decided to stay because I do believe we're on the verge of hopefully achieving stuff that we want to achieve.
Did you have to deliberate for long? I mean, clearly this is not your home, so there must have been some thought about what happens over the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a place that I've settled in well, and a place that I really, can't say thank you enough of how the people accepted me, and look back at the semi-final quickly on the number of cherry and white supporters they were, made my heart feel so proud, but also disappointed that we couldn't give a result to them. But so obviously there was a part that was excited and wanted to sign, but with my daughter back in South Africa, and that I haven't seen since January, and also obviously if she keeps on staying in South Africa, there was a bit of emotional decision. Do I go back? There was 1 or 2 opportunities, and I was thinking, do I go back and be in the country where I'm closer? But then again, you're not going to see Ruan, and there's always pros and cons. But then I looked at it, how we enjoyed it, and also where I want to take the club, and I feel the job is not done, and there's excitement there that obviously made the decision at the end easy.
How far are you in your progression here? Because you will have arrived with fairly definitive views, I imagine, about how far the club can travel. You've obviously taken them from 7th into a semi-final place. How far advanced are you, and are you on track in your mind? Are you ahead of the curve? Are you slightly behind it? Where are you?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, because I think the biggest thing for me was to get the culture and almost the environment in place. And it's not just about what I want to get in place, what everybody wants, and how they want to see us as a team and as a club, and how they want to enjoy each other. I think that's probably even more important for me than the results, although I know we get measured by the results. So that was the big change, and I wanted us to play a style of rugby that everybody will enjoy regardless of the outcome, and everybody feel part of the supporters, but as well as the players. So to answer your question, I think on the progress, it's going well. I would say when I came here, I felt that we went up 2 places from 9th to 7th last season, but apart from that, all our scoring tries, our running meters, our offloads, our stats was up in the right direction, and we just needed to get the balance and the decision making. And then this season I felt that we're good, and if I wanted to leave room for improvement, I probably would have said 6th and 5th would have been a good a growth, but we obviously played well at some stages and got into that playoff spot, and now the club has experienced that, the players has experienced that. So again, it's a good progress, but we all seen there's still a lot of work to be done. So I'm happy, but again, Alastair, I think the most important thing is who are we as a club, what do we stand for, what's our values, what's our culture, does the players grow as men, and do everybody, all the staff, at Kingsholm, there at Hartbury, are we embracing each other every day and looking forward to the challenge? That's what we want to measure at the end.
Your motto, if you like, or catchphrase was play to inspire, and that's been very effective in terms of the style of rugby that you're playing, Johan. I think that's clear for everybody to see. Was there a part of that for you that involves just removing the stresses over each and every little blip, every defeat, so that you're concentrating rather more on the bigger picture?
No, definitely. I think every club and every player, if you ask them first day of pre-season and they ask what would you want to achieve this year, everybody's going to say we want to win. We want to win, play in the playoffs, win trophies. I think that's a common goal that every sportsman plays. But I feel there must be something deeper that you play for. There must be a why, there must be a reason why you put on the jersey, why you make the effort to get out of the bed, to go through a hard day's training. And therefore, the play to inspire is quite close to my heart. I feel that we get every day the opportunity to inspire each other. And I'm not talking about this massive emotional speeches. I'm talking about how just a nice greet, a nice hello, maybe if I see you a bit down, asking you what's wrong and maybe try and uplift you, talk to about things that I went through and see if you can, encourage each other. And then obviously the players get the opportunity when they put on the jersey to these young kids that, we see next to the field with Gloucester t-shirts and jerseys on, and they want heroes, they want people to look up to, role models, and they get that opportunity. And then you look at the shed and you see 70 and 80-year-old people stand, and I ask the players, why will they offer a Saturday up and come and watch here? They want to get a bit of hope, a bit of inspiration, and we've got that platform and that inspiration. And then off the field, how do we get the opportunity to meet people and get invited to different venues and players, and maybe just that one moment you get something to inspire somebody. So I think it takes that pressure off. Regardless of winning or losing, we all can learn from that situation, that desperation or that mistake or failure, and maybe use it in the future to inspire a family member or a friend.
That seems to me to be quite enlightened. We're seeing more coaches, more managers, I suppose, adopt that sort of policy because they're seeing the effects and the ramifications on the pitch. But at what stage for you did that become something that you really wanted to embed in a team that you were in charge of? Was there a moment or a person was there a light bulb moment in that regard where you thought that's how I want to manage?
I think it's when I became a head coach for the first time. I realized through the situation that we were in, we were desperate, we were out of the main competition, we were nobody, and we came together and we said as a group, we said, what do we control? We control our effort that we work, that we put in, and then let's care for each other. And I just saw players change as men, where they were open when they went through tough times. And then as if you start believing in those things and you start believing in a culture where people are caring for each other, I just saw that how you can change people around you, and it gives you a great platform, it gives you a great point of discussion to talk to, and there's always something that you can see if you can challenge yourself, but also your supporters and the people, and I think then there's something in the morning for everybody to get up. With what attitude do we get up? So it's something that I've experienced, that that we get challenged every day by when we have the good and the bad times. And I do believe that as much as coaching is a calling, in my view, we get the opportunity to work with young people every day. I do believe that a player is not by accident at a certain time in a certain place in his career. He's there for a reason, to make a difference, and it's just a easy way to keep your focus and to also keep you challenging yourself.
So whilst the growth of the squad is really important, so too are the results, as you know better than anybody. How do you close that gap, Johan, now that you've made it to the semi-finals? But it does seem like the Premiership at the moment has a top two, and they are, frankly, quite a long way out in front. How do you shut that gap?
Well, I think the first thing that will help is consistency in our squad. When I came, even in the first year, there was still, between the first and the second year, there was quite a number of change of personnel. So this year is less, there's only a few players coming in. So hopefully through that consistency in the squad, that will bring, like we just said, you're building a culture, you're building an environment, you're building trust, and hopefully, because if you look at Exeter and Saracens, you know, there must be a massive trust factor, ability that they trust each other, they know what they stand for, and I think it just puts them apart when it comes to those pressure games. Then obviously the experience that they've picked up by playing in playoffs, playing in finals together as a group. So that's the part, you know, that we have to get to. We can't, and I know it's going to be a bit of a pressure what I say now, but we can't get to playoffs only once every 6, 7, 8 years, because your squad will rotate, you will almost lose that continuity. We have to be there every year almost to really start challenging the likes of Saracens and Exeter. And then, you know, then it's the practical side. We have to get on the pitch, and we have to show, it showed on the weekend, they have to be making good decisions under pressure. We'll have to be better in the aerial contest that we saw with Saracens. We have to be obviously defensively stronger. So some of them are systems, some of them are individuals that we just need to practice. But as you combinations start getting better, as you get that consistency, hopefully all those things will get the gap eventually to closer.
And do you feel that there's a confidence and a belief amongst the players, or a growing one at least, that semi-finals and beyond is where they belong? Because I think at this club over the last 10, 15 years, they've had a patchy success, but it's never been sustained, and it's been frankly very up and down. So do you feel that there's a change in mentality now about believing that they actually belong at the top table?
I do believe that. I do believe the fact that we started to pick up away wins, the Harlequins away, Northampton away, Wasp away. Suddenly I think there's a belief that, you know, you can compete against all the sides at all venues and stuff. And obviously your home field, you have to make it as hard a place as anything. But, you know, I'm also conscious that the players must realize that everything you've achieved is only short-lived. You have to, unfortunately, you know, start with all the hard work again. And we've seen, you know, unfortunately with Newcastle and Leicester, two sides that was up there the previous year, suddenly, you know, you lose a few games, maybe pick up a few injuries, and things can change. But out of a belief, purely a belief, and hopefully the season that went past, some of the things that we achieved, you know, would put the players in a mindset that we can compete at this level, and that we will start at a decent platform.
And for you, Johan, Gloucester life, Cotswold life, Kingsholm life, I mean, do you feel like you're properly embedded now here?
Yeah, it's really a humbling experience, because, you know, when David and them saw me the first time, they said this is really a town where the rugby is the central of it, and it's, you know, it's when you're here only you start realizing what it means to Gloucester and the region here. And I realized it even more after Saturday. It was just amazing, the loyalty of the supporters. I mean, after the result wasn't a good result, we sat on top of the coach's box, and you look down the stadium, and all the people around the whole field was only Gloucester supporters. It was just amazing, and yeah, it's a great place. I enjoyed it. You know, enjoyed the fact that, you know, there's a lot of time for yourself, time for the family. The fact that there's less travelling, but I enjoy Gloucester. You know, there's definitely not the rush and the bustle of Johannesburg. And just the way the people has made me feel welcome. And then obviously what's great, you started to make friends outside of the rugby, and people that you start meeting. Yeah, so there's a lot of people I need to thank.
And if you had a message for the Gloucester fans as you sign on for a couple more years on top of the year that was already there on your contract, what would that message be?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I do believe that, you know, God's got a plan for all of us in our lives, and I trust that was a big part why I'm here. You know, not just for on the field, but off the field, to see where I can be part of the journey here with the players and with the management, and to the supporters. You know, again, you know, first of all, I want to thank them for being loyal and supporting this side every game, and then second of all, they can, you know, I I can't guarantee always wins, but what I want to say is that hopefully they'll see a side that will play with, you know, commitment and a lot of passion, and obviously to play to inspire every time, because we know we're representing not just ourselves and our families, but also a proud city, and we want to represent them as well as we can and make everybody proud of what we stand for.